It's another week, and you know what it is. It's time to talk sports on the arena. I'm Samson Oloide, and I welcome you to the show. Today's edition promises to be exciting as always, as it's a review of the weekend activities, especially in the Premier League, where there were Boxing Day matches, and Manchester City went 6 points clear. In the Nigerian Professional Football League, you had match day 2 also yesterday, and Remo Stars are setting the pace early as Ogumbode's men have 2 wins from 2 games. It's on that note I welcome you to the show once again. We'll go on a quick break right now. When we return, we'll begin the show in earnest. Please do stay tuned.
Christmas in Nigeria is undoubtedly a family event, a time where lots of family members come together to celebrate and have fun. Many families will throw parties that will last the whole night on Christmas Eve. Then, on Christmas morning, they all go to various worship centers, caroling all the way with so much excitement and thanksgiving in the air. Homes and streets are often decorated with shiny lights of different colors. Most homes do have a Christmas tree placed in strategic places with lots of lights and ornaments as part of the festivities. Wishing you and your family a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year from iBrandTV, where business comes first.
Christmas is here again, but it means different things to different people. For some, it means sharing gifts and spreading happiness.
Some will say Christmas is about holidays and sharing food.
For others, Christmas is about music, caroling, candlelight, and fireworks.
At iBrandTV, Christmas for us is about adding colors to your television, bringing you the brightest of holiday contents, news, and events all across the globe. From now into the new year.
This is wishing our esteemed viewers the warmest Christmas greetings from all of us at iBrandTV.
Wishing you a season that's merry and bright with light and love from iBrandTV, where business comes first.
Thank you for staying tuned. It's still the arena right here on iBrandTV, and I've got with me a guest, a former NFF committee member, also a former future Eagles media officer, talking about Adikpoju Toby Samuel. Toby, good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, good afternoon, Sam.
Okay, let's talk about the Nigerian Professional Football League match day 2, and Remo Stars are setting the pace. It must be said.
Yeah, absolutely. For the first time in their history, they played on their own private facility.
Yes.
So it was a very good atmosphere for them. I mean, the last 2 times when they went to the game relegated for obvious reasons, because they played on terrible pitch at Shagam.
Shagam, yes.
It was a different atmosphere, and also to be based in the community was also good for them. You know, the fans came out. The decent members of the team, 2 goals from Harding in the early 10 minutes of the game before even the second goal, the third goal in the second half. Because they did not performance at the day. I expected victory for me, in my own opinion. Yes. After scoring 3 goals in the last game, but I knew it would be difficult to compete against this very compact and interesting side of Leicester City. They were able to really, play in a couple of weeks. So, I mean, it was an interesting atmosphere there, and felt the passion from the fans, the passion from the owner, the players, and the coaching crew. It was something good for them. It's something they enjoy for a very long time. They're playing their own facility, and winning the first home game. It looks a positive for the team to push on the team.
Yeah, talking about the stadium, Remo Star Stadium, they are the only club side that literally owns, that kind of a stadium. It was built from the scratch by the owner, Kunle Shoname, and it must be said, it is a top-notch facility. We saw videos of the fans. It was filled to the brim. What do you have to say about the state of the pitch and the facility as a whole?
Exactly. This is what we're preaching. The government needs to understand the roles in football and sports. Football is not within the club side, sponsor club side. They're going to provide facilities. They put technicals, businessmen to run football businesses. Not that politician only businesses. And this is what Remo sides, have been doing since they were founded. Started very small, like you said, and now they are here. The team is a very strong group system. If you come to that, it's a sports complex that will eventually have 5,000 capacity with 4 training pitches.
Yes.
With 4 pitches. The 2 other pitches will be training pitches. The main stadium. Already 2 pitches is ready. Inside there's an hotel, there's a sports hall. It's very good facility to ensure that sports is going to keep going in that state and also for people around the globe. Like I said, also, they have a very interesting team. About 4 players that saw yesterday were 2 of them.
Yes.
From the run, like the reality is Sadiq, the captain, the goalkeeper, these are boys, the fellow with them,
and the Okpe as well.
This is one thing we preach, and we hope a lot of businessmen, a lot of millionaires and billionaires in Nigeria will see the business side of sport, and they will come in and invest like this. The more of Shonamen, we'll be able to push out the government jobs and government structures away from our football.
Definitely. Talking about Remo Stars, they're also setting the pace regards business, because the ticket price for that particular match was pegged at 300 naira for the regular spot, while you had the VIP as at 1,500 naira. And the crowd, someone did the mathematics and said, imagine if you had 1,000 spectators at the stadium for 300 naira. That's 300,000 naira in gate receipts alone. So I think it's the way to go for other clubs to emulate when it comes to ticketing for matches at home.
Exactly, and the coordination yesterday was not top notch. They were selling tickets away from the stadium. You have to put a lot of crowd environment in front of the gate. They were selling tickets miles away. And like I said, it's still a 1,000 capacity, but it will end up being 5,000 capacity.
5,000 capacity.
It's the community engagement they are trying to do. And also ensuring the culture of you contributing as a fan to the club, no matter how small it is. Sometimes you are 300 naira, you could build on it. Just in that about 1,000 if you want to be contributed to the
That's great.
So it's a good culture they are building. Sometimes people don't look through the gate open for fans.
Okay.
The private club saying, with your 200 now, with your 100 now, you're part of this club as community.
Definitely. More like a supporters trust fund. Anyways, let's delve into the match itself. 3-0 against Atlant. It was like a routine win for Gbenga Ogumbote's men. And more importantly, Andy Okpe got on the score sheet once again, although there's controversy regarding if that's his 3rd goal of the campaign or his 2nd, due to the first goal against MFM, which some have deemed as an own goal after video replays. Do you want to clarify that, controversy for us?
Right. Actually, I was at the stadium on match day 1 in Lagos at Oniko. Everyone felt it was Andy good.
Okay.
We saw the video. The video of the video, showed that it was an own goal by LMFM. Like I tweeted, and I also said on social media, I hope the LMFM will correct it, because everyone counted the goal, including the match officials for Andy, because it was a very bad situation, to be honest.
Yes.
It's not for the second review. If you had the video, a lot of people.
Gave it to him.
So, and this is the reason why we come from, improve TV coverage in the league. Kudos that this game on TV. Imagine without this game on TV, could have been visual of Andy having this. But I hope the LMT will take note and correct it.
Corrected. Okay.
It wasn't an Andy game.
Okay, as I said earlier, for the league, it's Remo Stars leading the pace right about now. 2 wins from 2, 6 points. They're not far off. We're talking about Enyimba, the big giants or the big elephants as they're known, of Aba. They also have 2 wins from 2, 6 points, having won away at Rangers. Toby, let me take you on regards to the sponsorship. Just prior to the commencement of the league, 2 major sponsors were named. You have a betting company as, you know, one of the sponsors, and also an alcoholic company as another sponsor. Do we know the prizes at stake in terms of the winners of the league? What do they go home with at the end of the season? Maybe top 2, top 3?
Yeah, in the previous years, when there was a lot of money from broadcasting, the lower the team usually take about 20 to 30 million, you know, take about 50 to 60 million. But I'm not sure them to go into that level this season. That's why the announcement of the sponsors. I would expect people that from understanding the football business is the fact that broadcast money is the biggest. You know, sponsorship will come with 200 million. To run the season for LMC, like I've stated on the server, and these are facts. You know, for LMC to run the season, and every season, you know, outside broadcasting cost them over $1 billion. Referees will talk about 400 million, talk about paying staff, talk about people working for you in the media, talk about branding, talk about logistics. You put all this together, it's over $1 billion for LMC. So we have 2 sponsors. I'm not sure the 2 sponsors have put 500 million together.
Okay.
You know, in terms of where I have heard, you know, these are not reviewed in the figure. So we have to play around it. So, I mean, I heard that they got just less than 300 million.
300 million, okay.
The alcohol company also dropped. So, at the end of the day, the biggest market is TV broadcasting. And they want to unlock the broadcasting channel. That is when the clubs can continue to get money from the LMC. Like I said, in previous years, when we had super sport, you know, clubs as much as 20, 30 million everything, and the winner goes about 60 to 50, 60 million. So I don't think they will get anything this season until the TV broadcasting, you know, goes back to where we used to have it, where someone pumping about $2 million into the league.
Okay, let me get your take. Let's round up Nigerian Professional Football League discussions with this. You're a veteran of the league itself, having covered it for over 10 years now. How do you think we can monetize the league to ensure that it gets to that standard where it's rewarding for all stakeholders?
The first thing is the structures of the club, which comes back to the LMC in terms of having a broad framework and also implementation of the framework. So when I know about the framework rules and regulation, for example, the facility for the top notch to play in the league, the extra of the players. So when you put these structures together, it comes out beautiful. Like I also mentioned earlier, TV broadcasting. Imagine having 5 games a week. For example, that we're having an England and Rivers United on Wednesday, and we're not sure we're going to see it on TV. Imagine that there more happening on TV yesterday. Then we do stories around how we're staying in their home stadium for the very first time. These are content, and these are structures that will ensure that we have a perfect league. The sponsor will roll it. So, I mean, if you open the structures in ground, sponsor will look at them and say, hey, you guys are not serious. You know, like I said, the structure of the club is very, very important. The way the clubs are being run by politicians is one of the biggest reasons why sponsors or why potential investors will stay away from the league. And this comes back to the LMC. I mean, you have to ensure that you implement your framework. Most of these things mentioned are also in the framework. Those things that blessing, have this stadium, have this, have that. They are in the framework, but implementation is the problem, you know, because government are involved, you know, make on and say, we do this. Make a lot of promises that they won't even afford. LMC said your minimum wage is 150,000. And you end up saying clubs going there for a month. You can't pay. In England, everyone doesn't pay as more than Norwich can pay as Man City. So you pay as equal as what you can
based
pay.
on your strength, your financial strength.
In the end, the challenge is all about pride for the government. So because the team in Abia is paying as much as 600,000.
Wow.
You must think, you know you're not going up to that level. You want to also
pay up to that, yes.
And, I mean, you can pay as much as that. And the player come here, you can't pay. I mean, look at what Remonta is doing. How much is that weight bill? I think I estimate that Remonta should not be more than 400,000. And this is the first time Remonta is going at half 400,000.
Okay.
I mean, you don't say it's minimum around 50,000. You can get players to pay for you. At some point, when MSN finished second in the league under together, the highest bid was 200,000 naira in
the league, yeah.
Some people pay as much as 200,000. You know, so the structure of the club is very important. The implementation of the framework is important, and also the TV broadcasting. If you can solve this thing and make this league grow, there's potential in the league. I mean, there's a lot of money that can go in and come into the league. It's all about doing the right things for investors and sponsors to come in.
Okay, thank you very much, Toby. Before I let you go, we have to talk about the African Cup of Nations. It's less than 2 weeks away, and the latest news about the competition itself has to be the fact that CAF has extended the deadline for players to arrive to January 3rd. Talking about Premier League players especially. Remember, the FIFA rule states that players have to be released 2 weeks before an international tournament, which would have been December 27th as the deadline, but CAF has extended it to January 3rd. It means the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea would have their African players, ply their trade when both teams will meet on the 2nd of January. Do you think this is a good move? What do you have to say regards the various, controversies that have caught the competition thus far?
Honestly, it is really unacceptable with the body language of CAF.
CAF, yes.
Should have been yes. I think body language is not as strong. Yes, we know that it's COVID. Yes, we know that it's pandemic in around. But I mean, you just have to set a structure. Everyone understands the reason why the Nations Cup is being played in January. It's because of the weather in Africa in June, July. It's always cold at some park. It is always raining. So the only part that can hold the Nations Cup June, July is always in North Africa. So the long term, if you say let's play the Nations Cup in North Africa in the next how many years, or if you want to play outside country, outside North Africa, where it will be raining in June, you have to have the same cover. But I think we understand the challenges. But the clubs can just come in and
decide, yes.
Right. But I mean, it also be that they find an understanding that you're coming in January 3rd, or your first game is about less than 10 days away. How much time does the coach have to deal with the team? So, I mean,
just 6 days away.
Competition and in terms of what we should see in the tournament. But at the end of the day, the Global Nations Cup is going on.
Okay.
We not cancel it because the council will have financial implication on it. And then maybe you can come around and sit down and say, how can we achieve? Because you can also see the Europeans have the argument about releasing their players January, February, when the team is also into a very competitive mode. But at the end of the day, this is Africa, and the reason we are saying they should respect Africa as well.
Definitely.
Because that's one of the best players in the tournament. But,
okay, thank you very much, Toby Samuel, for your time on the show. We'll go on a quick break right now. When we return, we'll be talking about the African Cup of Nations some more. Do stick around.
Christmas is here again, but it means different things to different people. For some, it means sharing gifts and spreading happiness.
Some will say Christmas is about holidays and sharing food.
For others, Christmas is about music, caroling, candlelight, and fireworks.
At iBrandTV, Christmas for us is about adding colors to your television, bringing you the brightest of holiday contents, news and events all across the globe. From now into the new year.
This is wishing our esteemed viewers the warmest Christmas greetings from all of us at iBrandTV.
Wishing you a season that's merry and bright with light and love from iBrandTV, where business comes first.
Thanks for staying tuned. It's still the arena, and what an expository discussion I just had with Adepoju Toby Samuel, an ex-NFF committee member and also an ex-Future Eagles media officer, talking about Toby Samuel. Is very vast when it comes to the Nigerian Professional Football League, and then we were able to dissect so much regards this league, though it's at its early stage, and the African Cup of Nations as well, where players would now be able to resume for the competition just 6 days before the opening match, which so many pundits, just like Toby has said, is really ridiculous to say the very least. But hey, it is what it is. Sometimes these rules are controversial, and CAF has decided to toe this line. Let's see how the players fare when it comes to donning the jerseys of their various national teams at the 33rd edition of the African Cup of Nations taking place in Cameroon in less than 2 weeks away. Now we'll move away from there quickly to European club football gist, where Anthony Martial has told Manchester United that he's set to leave the club. The French forward had a lengthy discussion with the coach or the interim manager, talking about Ralf Rangnick, where he disclosed that he wants to leave the club by January. But having stated that no club, Rangnick confirmed that no club has stepped forward to make an offer for the French international. The 26-year-old was signed by Manchester United in 2015 for £36 million from AS Monaco, which at the time was a record fee for a teenage footballer. In fact, it was the most expensive teenage footballer in the world at the time. But after 268 matches and 79 goals, it seems Martial is set to move on. He has made just 2 Premier League appearances this season, or rather he has started just 2 Premier League matches this season and has scored just a lone goal, while he has 10 appearances in all competitions. He is yet to feature for Ralph Rangnick, and it shows you that the French forward is down the pecking line when it comes to Old Trafford, with the likes of Ronaldo, Jadon Sancho, as well as Edison Cavani way ahead of him in the pecking line. So I think for Anthony Martial, it's all about the fact that he just has to make way for playing time, because the 2022 Qatar World Cup is just by the corner, and every footballer wants to be on the plane to the Middle East, where there will be a World Cup for the first time in history, and it's Qatar 2020. Remember, November, December is the time when the World Cup would take place in Qatar. So it's all about playing time for these lads, and it's quite understandable that Martial is leaving at this point in time. Let's move quickly to yesterday's matches. I talked about Boxing Day matches in the English Premier League. All other top flight leagues are on break due to the festive period. But remember, in England, it's business all the way. And Arsenal were on duty yesterday. It was a 5-0 thumping of Norwich City, who seemed destined for relegation once again, while for Mikel Arteta's men, they were able to consolidate their place, talking about a top 4 finish. So for Arsenal, it's 5-0. And the controversies regards the captain, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, not being in the team, being disciplined, stripped of his captaincy, being frozen out of the first team, has not deterred the team from making it count when it comes to the field of play. Bukayo Saka, who has been touted to be offered a 6-year contract extension, got on the score sheet. You had Gabriel Martinelli doing his thing. You also had Emil Smith-Rowe in the mix as well as one of the goal scorers. It was all Arsenal all through. And for Dean Smith's men, it seems like the die is cast. Even as at December, it seems their fate has been sealed with regards to relegation. But remember, West Bromwich Albion pulled off the chestnut out of the fire in 2005 when they came from the dead, so to speak, to escape relegation without even having up to the 40 points, which has been deemed the benchmark for escaping relegation from the top flight league when it comes to the Premier League. So for Arsenal, it's a good win and a way to consolidate their top 4 spots. We move away from Arsenal to table toppers Manchester City, who ensured that they won its 9-goal thriller, 9 goals against Leicester City, 6-3. The match ended in favor of Manchester City. They were 4-0 up. It seemed all done and dusted. They were cruising, and Leicester City pulled 3 goals back, and it seemed like they were shaky, but they were able to get 2 goals back to ensure that they extend their lead at the top of the table to 6 points. Remember, Liverpool couldn't play Leeds United yesterday as the match was postponed due to COVID concerns. So Manchester City are still topping the log, and now they have 6 points ahead of Liverpool as they race to the English Premier League title heats up. It's the festive period, and for Guardiola's men, they're right now in a roll of form. Sterling got a goal, Mahrez in the mix as well, Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan, the usual suspects. It was really a great offensive outlet when it comes to the kind of football that Arsenal and Manchester City played on the day against Leicester City, and they will be hoping to continue in that stride. For Leicester City, it was another disappointing loss. Remember, they lost the midweek. They squandered the 2-goal lead midweek against Liverpool's second-tier team. So for Brendan Rodgers' men, there's so much to talk about, and he has described this moment as the worst phase of his career. Let's see if he'll be able to pull them out. Talking about the FA Cup champions, who are currently in a very bad run of form. Remember, they also crashed out of the Europa League group stages and were condemned to play in the Europa Conference League. So let's see how that pans out. Let's move away from there now to the world of tennis, and it's the ATP Cup. We're talking about Denis Shapovalov. That's the Canadian who has withdrawn from the ATP Cup, which is scheduled to take place in barely a week's time as a result of testing positive for COVID-19. Now, he's not the first person to pull out of the tournament. Remember, Serbia's Novak Djokovic, world number 1, also withdrew from the tournament just days earlier as a result of, vaccination status, so to speak. But for Denis Shapovalov, he tested positive, and it's quite sad that the Canadian won't be able to lead his team to the ATP Cup 2022 edition. He played also in Abu Dhabi, and it seems there's something about Abu Dhabi, talking about the Mubadala Championship, the exhibition event which had the likes of Shapovalov, it had the likes of Rafael Nadal and the Murray in the mix. They all played there, and over 5 players have tested positive, talking about the players who participated in that exhibition event. So there's probably so much that has to go into isolation, quarantine, and basically the safety protocols and guidelines as players are struggling to contain, or rather the world of sports in general is trying to contain the COVID-19 outbreak. In tennis, it's still relatively good, but over the last 4 or 5 days, you've had players, especially those who participated at the Abu Dhabi Championship, as I said earlier, testing positive for COVID-19. So I'm sure they would try to get treatment as quickly as possible. It must be said that he's still in line to play at the Australian Open. The Australian Open is 3 weeks away from now. So with isolation and quarantine and all other treatments, he should be ready to play at the Australian Open 2022. Djokovic is still doubtful for that, but we'll see as time goes on. Let's move away from there now to the world of basketball. And we're talking about Utah Jazz. Their star guard, talking about Donovan Mitchell, also known as Spider, is out, has been sidelined due to a lower back strain. And it means that the all-time guard would have to sit out the road trips to San Antonio Spurs, as well as the road trip to Portland, where his team would face Portland Trail Blazers. There's no particular date for his return yet. No specific date has been stated for him to return, and it's based on how he fares on the treatment table that will determine how he comes back. But he suffered the lower back strain when the Utah Jazz played against Dallas Mavericks on Christmas Day, which they won convincingly. And in that match, you had Donovan Mitchell scoring 33 points within 35 minutes to lead his team to 23 wins and just 9 losses to the start of their 32-match season. And must be said, this season is averaging 25 points and 5 assists per game for the Utah Jazz, who are currently third in the Western Conference, talking about the race for the playoff spots. So they would miss their star guard, but they're comfortable right now when it comes to the race for the playoffs, and it shouldn't be a problem when they face San Antonio Spurs as well as the Portland Trail Blazers. That's how much I can take on today's edition of the show. Thank you so much for joining, to the production crew who made this happen. I say thank you so much to you, our viewers. What more can I say? You guys are the real MVP, as I often say. Thank you so much for joining us. Till the arena comes your way tomorrow, do stay blessed. Have a wonderful day.